This man lives in the Arctic, where temperatures drop to -40 degrees Celsius. Every day, his work consists of repeating 3 tasks. The first task, after waking up each morning, he heads outside to shovel snow. Even the smallest white stone gets dug up and tossed aside with full effort, and he won't stop until the dark soil beneath is fully exposed. The purpose of this painstaking work? To make the black soil lines in the trench stand out more clearly. At that moment, the alarm on his watch beeps. He stops what he's doing and walks toward the wreckage of a nearby plane. Behind him, a massive SOS signal is clearly etched into the snow. This crashed plane is now his only shelter in the Arctic. The second task, checking his fishing traps to see if there's any catch. There's no other source of food here. To survive, he has to drill through the ice and rely on fishing to fill his stomach. One of the traps suddenly makes a noise. He rushes over and slowly pulls up the line. It's an Arctic salmon, but there's no joy on his face. For 6 long months, he has survived solely on this fish. He stores the fish in a box, taking one back to the plane. With no fire source, he slices the fish into pieces and eats it raw every time. Once he regains some strength, the alarm rings again, reminding him to complete his third task. The third task, he grabs a signal transmitter and climbs to the highest nearby point. He cranks the hand generator tirelessly, sending out a faint distress signal to the outside world. The Arctic is in its endless daylight season, so he relies solely on his alarm to track time. For hours, he cranks the generator, but only sees the red light blinking. No response. When time's up, he heads back to rest. On the way, he stops by to visit his only companion, the only presence that brings him warmth. Day after day, he performs these 3 tasks at the same time, living in a strict, repetitive routine. But the harsh climate isn't the only danger here. The next day, he goes to check his fishing traps as usual, but what he finds terrifies him. The fish storage box is destroyed. The fish are gone, and a massive paw print is left in the snow. A polar bear. His heart races as he scans the area in fear. He sprints back to the plane, locks the door tight, and stares out the window, terrified the bear might appear and tear him apart. Polar bears see all living creatures as food. After a long time, once he's sure it's safe, he heads back up the hill with the transmitter. Cautiously scanning his surroundings, he mechanically cranks the generator. Hours pass. Still no response. But then, he notices something. The polar bear has moved far away. Suddenly, the green light blinks. Someone nearby has picked up his distress signal. He frantically cranks the generator faster. The green light keeps flashing. Moments later, a helicopter appears in the distance. Hope is finally within reach. He lights a flare and waves it with all his strength. After 6 months trapped in the Arctic, he's finally about to be rescued. Overcome with relief, he bursts out laughing. But fate is cruel. As the helicopter begins to descend, a sudden blizzard hits. The aircraft shakes violently, loses control, veers off course, and crashes straight into the ground. The man freezes in shock, unable to process what just happened. His heart sinks to rock bottom. Forcing himself to stay calm, he sprints to the crash site. He pries open the cockpit door. The pilot is already dead. Thankfully, the woman in the passenger seat is still alive, though critically injured. With the storm intensifying, he quickly shuts the door and grabs the first aid kit to treat her wounds. The pain briefly wakes her, and she opens her eyes, looking at him, but within moments, she slips back into unconsciousness.